kind of carnival beats, the streets gritty. My life's a B-movie on the grind, mate. 12 quid and a ruby, dodging coppers.
Right. Let's dive in, shall we? British rap. I've got a track that's been stuck in my head. Wanker.
Yeah.
By Kurt Holes.
Interesting choice.
I know, right? The title.
It grabs you.
It definitely makes you look twice.
Absolutely. So for our listeners, we're doing a deep dive today for those who maybe, they've heard a little bit of British rap, but they're not quite sure, how to unpack it all.
Get into it. Yeah.
What's going on beneath the surface.
Exactly.
So Wanker is on the album Welcome to London, Bruv.
Mm-hmm.
And Kurt Holes, he's an interesting artist. He's
not a one-trick pony?
No, not at all.
Yeah,
he dabbles in different genres. I think you can hear that in his music.
Yeah. There's like this real blending of sounds, which is cool.
Definitely.
So first verse, man, you get this. It just slows you right into a scene, right? You got carnival beats, gritty streets. He talks about how life is a B movie.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about that sense of place that he creates?
Well, it's really classic British rap, isn't it? This idea of social realism.
Yeah.
It's not all about escapism,
right?
Fantasy. It's really grounded in the realities of life in London, particularly for working class Londoners. And I think this raw, gritty style you hear kind of goes back to the punk movement in the UK in the 70s and 80s, like a reaction to Thatcherism.
Oh, wow.
And the sort of economic hardships of the time.
Interesting.
So there's that same energy, I think, in Wanker.
I see. And then he has this line about 12 quid and a ruby. I had to Google what a ruby was. It's like rhyming slang.
Oh, the rhyming slang.
Yeah, for curry.
Ruby Murray.
A Ruby Murray.
Yeah.
It's so clever.
Oh, it's brilliant.
And I mean, in just those few words, you get so much, right? 12 quid and a ruby. It's not exactly, champagne and caviar.
No, not at all.
Right. But there's like a humor in it.
Yeah.
Like a making the best of a situation.
Shining the light.
Yeah, which I think is so British.
Very British.
Yeah. And you get that kind of running through the whole song, right? Like the hustling, the dodging coppers, being a corner man. It's like there's this whole other world going on.
Like a hidden economy, a whole sort of underbelly that we don't often see.
Absolutely. And then even amidst all that, he still throws in these lines that are just so like sneakers on pavement, mind sharper than daggers, or wordplay slicker than eels.
Oh, he loves a good simile, doesn't he?
Yes. It's like he's bragging.
Yeah.
But in a really playful, clever way.
Yeah, it's that British wit, It's about verbal dexterity and using language as a tool.
Yeah.
As a weapon, a shield. And it makes me think of grime music, that subgenre of British rap. It really emphasizes this rapid-fire delivery of rhymes over quite dark, minimalist beats. And Kurt Holes definitely, taps into that energy.
He does.
Yeah.
And he's so playful with the language, but then there's this one word that keeps coming up that I just can't ignore.
Okay.
It's all over the song.
Wanker. Yeah, that's a word that can
it makes me uncomfortable.
make even us Brits kind of, squirm a little.
Yeah.
It is usually an insult. But I mean, so much of British slang context is key. Among friends, it can be like a term of endearment, almost like a...
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It's like a playful jab.
A playful jab. Wow.
Yeah. And I think Holes is playing with that duality, maybe even reclaiming the word, turning it on its head.
Interesting.
Making it something empowering.
Yeah, he's definitely making a statement. And speaking of statements, how about those lines? Lyrical shanker and slanger.
Ah, yes. He's painting this picture of himself as a wordsmith, right?
Mm-hmm.
A master of his craft. And a shanker, of course, is slang for a knife, so he's saying his lyrics are like weapons.
Okay.
Sharp and incisive. And slanger, well, that's just, emphasizing his command of language, especially slang, which is like this secret code within his community. It's fascinating, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because it's like this long tradition of
It's
wordplay and lyrical battles going all the way back to Shakespearean insults, and even before that.
Oh, absolutely. You can trace that lineage, back centuries. And I think it's also connected to, this working class tradition of finding humor in the face of adversity.
Right.
It's not just about entertainment. It's about using wit and wordplay to survive, to resist, to create a sense of belonging.
Yeah. And it brings us to these lines that really struck me. Life's a blanker, so draw with banter, and life's a card dealt. What do you make of those?
Oh, these are brilliant lines. I think there's a real sense of resilience in them, like accepting what life throws at you.
Yeah.
But also this determination to make something of it. It's a very British take on that classic hip-hop theme of like rising above your circumstances. And it connects to the rise of British rap itself, this genre that came from the margins, from communities that were often overlooked and underestimated. Yeah.
It's about using music to tell your story, to claim your space, to challenge the status quo.
I love that. And he paints such a vivid picture of that space, too.
He does.
With those details like park benches, CCTV, pigeons perched, and even like dodgy deals in the alley. It's like you can see it.
You can.
It's London, but not the London you see in the tourist brochures.
Exactly. He's grounding the song in a specific reality, this urban landscape that's familiar to so many.
Yeah.
But rarely gets this kind of lyrical attention. It gives it a real sense of authenticity.
Definitely. Definitely. We've gone from slang to social commentary, from wordplay to like a real look at London's underbelly, all in one song.
It's impressive, isn't it? That's the power of music, to pack so much meaning, so much history, so much emotion into just a few verses.
Yeah, it is. So to our listeners, we want you to think about this. How does Kurt Hole's use of humor and slang and wordplay affect the way we hear his message? Does it soften the blow of the tough realities he's depicting? Or does it add another layer of complexity? Yeah, that's a really good question. And one worth pondering, as you listen to the full song and explore maybe some other British rap artists. And I think you'll be surprised at what you discover.
Absolutely. Until next time.
Cheers.
Life's a blanker, so draw it with banter. Oi, wanker, peep the slanger. Fast flow free like a free-range banger.